Hey there guys, it's Kaioshin Curt here, helping you to expand and enhance your knowledge of Dragon Ball. And in this video, we're going to be answering the question, who is the old Kai? Now, this video is actually suggested by my good fellow Dragon Ball YouTuber mate, Wolfpack Vegeta, aka Jace. Thank you, mate. I appreciate the suggestion. And I also thought I'd bring this video in now because it's most appropriate as the time we're in Dragon Ball Super, where we've just had the Universe 9 Kaioshin row being revealed as well. And actually, if you think about the old Kai, his Japanese name is the Ro Kaioshin. So it's quite similar, isn't it? So I thought I'd cover this video now because it's relevant and also help you out, mate, and get your suggestion put in on the channel. So thank you, Jace, mate, for the suggestion, and here we go. Now, the Ro Kaioshin is the Kaioshin from 15 generations before the current East Kaioshin. He was first revealed in Dragon Ball Z in episode 250 and Manga Chapter 479. In this episode, the Ro Kaioshin was released from the Z Sword when it got broken by Gohan. And in Dragon Ball Super episode 3, we actually found out that the Ro Kaioshin was actually sealed in the Z Sword by Beerus 75 million years before the time of that Dragon Ball Super episode. Now, after this time of Ro Kaioshin being sealed in the Z Sword, there was a period where there was an imbalance in the universe in terms of what's being destroyed and what's created. So in this time, there wasn't many planets being created and a lot more destroyed by Beerus. So there was this negative effect where planets were being destroyed greater than they were being created because there wasn't any creation going on. And I'd like to give some credit here, guys, to someone on Konsenshu called Neji Shiki for evidencing that in the Jacko manga, Jacko states that there aren't many planets in the universe 7 that have intelligent life forms. So this was something that Toriyama put here just to kind of explain this. Perhaps, maybe it was just you know, a loose comment, you know, just something on the side there, but it actually does help to explain why we don't see lots of other planets with intelligent life forms, and there's loads of them around. Now, the Ro Kaioshin in terms of appearance looks like an elderly Kaioshin with poor posture, and he has quite a short mohawk. Now, before he actually fused with the old witch, which actually led to him having this more elderly, grotesque appearance, he looked more like the East Kaioshin of the current time, and he had a much longer mohawk. But to his horror, obviously, the old witch snuck up on him when he was reading a book, sat against a tree in the Kaioshin realm. Who knows how she got there, who knows how she was authorized to be there, but that's what happened. And she thought, oh, that earring looks pretty, that patara, I'll just take it off his ear and put it onto my left ear. And so that's the reason for his appearance. But as I'll get to later, it really helped the Ro Kaioshin to have a lot more awareness of abilities and techniques, and made him a lot of use in the series. Now, in terms of personality, the Ro Kaioshin is similar to Master Roshi, and often with older characters, Toriyama made them to be perverted and to use their great status and power to kind of abuse it. And we can see that here. We see that here with Ro Kaioshin, because he states that if he wants to just you know, look at a girl or whatever, he'll just go and he can use his all-seeing sight of the universe and just, you know, see that happening. So that's very, very horrible, and that's a position that probably Master Roshi would have loved to have been in. But it just goes to show that the Ro Kaioshin is very similar to Master Roshi. And this is also supported by the fact that he reads, you know, some of these horrible magazines and says these certain types of things. Now, in terms of power, the Ro Kaioshin is quite weak, and the evidence for this is when Goku actually shoots a very small uncharged ki blast at him when his back is turned, when he's actually first revealed in episode 250, and he is caught off guard, but he falls to the floor and he's all kind of charred up, you know, he's got burns on him and this and that, and so it shows he's not very strong. But then he immediately states that it wasn't my power that he was scared of, it was my magical abilities. And this comes from, as I was saying, about the fusing with the witch accidentally. He got these abilities, which we'll go into shortly, that really made him more fearsome than his actual power. Now, it also raises the question, well, did he have a lot more power before he fused accidentally with the witch? And was it that when they fused, his physical power was traded for magical power, magical abilities? This is an interesting question actually, and we really don't know the answer to that, because usually in Potara fusion kind of abilities are both integrated, so that there's no loss of abilities, there's only gain of abilities and gain of power. But in this instance, maybe because it's a Kaioshin and it's a witch, which are kind of different disciplines, different types of beings, maybe there's some kind of trade-off with physical power and magical abilities. Now, in terms of knowledge, the Kaioshin is shown to have far greater superior knowledge to Kibito and the East Kaioshin, and this probably comes from being a lot older, and at the time of his reign, he probably had more elders to possibly to consult. Maybe the god hierarchy there with the Kaioshins, you know, having the Dai Kaioshin and all these other Kaioshin, East Kaioshin, West, North, South, maybe that was still in place when he was a young Kaioshin, maybe not, but he does have superior knowledge, and this is shown how in chapter 501 of the manga we see that he knows about Potara fusion, whereas the East Kaioshin doesn't know, or Kibito, they're unaware. Also in the Universe 6 tournament arc of Dragon Ball Super, they aren't aware if there's a Megeta Metal Man type being in Universe 7, and he's like, you should do more research. And that's true. And maybe you could think there, well, hang on, Kaioshin, you've had a few years since Majin Buu was defeated to actually know all these things, but there's probably literally billions and billions of these planets in Universe 7 still, so it's quite a hard job to therefore identify straight away what all the beings are in that universe. So it's probably not his fault that he doesn't know after being released from the Z-Sword and having that time to do his research. But the Universe 7 Kaioshin, East Kaioshin, he should know, because they've been around for a long time. It just begins to make me wonder what he's been doing all that time before Majin Buu awoke on Earth this time. And also in the first arc of Dragon Ball Super Battle Gods arc, we saw that the Kaioshin, he could immediately tell that Beerus' presence was back and that he had awoken from his sleep and he was starting to destroy planets. The same with Champa, he was noticing that planets were being destroyed and he didn't know what was going on, so he had a look, and then he saw Champa and Vados there, and they saw him obviously observing them. So, you know, the Kaioshin has a lot greater knowledge and abilities to sense things and all these kinds of things, and the East Kaioshin is very young and not very adept at all these things, and really is lackluster, doesn't know. But there's one more point I'd like to bring up, guys, and that is, people have asked, why didn't the Kaioshin know about the original Super Saiyan God? And now I was thinking about this and looking on consensuals, because I was struggling to think of the answer, but I saw a post from Herms, and Herms got it all sorted out in this comment. He was saying that in Battle of Gods, obviously Shenlong said that the Super Saiyan God myth had been erased from history, and that the original Super Saiyan God must have existed whilst Kaioshin was trapped in the Z-Sword for 75 million years, and that the East Kaioshin was very likely to have overlooked planet Vegeta at this point, because there's so many planets out there and the Super Saiyan God only existed for a very short time. So I think it would be a lot to expect that any Kaioshin would be able to see this at this point. But you could say that because the Kaioshin is that much greater in his abilities, his ability to have the foresight and knowledge of the whole universe, maybe he would have been able to detect it, because it was technically another being gaining God Ki, so he could sense that change in Ki. But this was probably at the time in the 75 million years when he was actually sealed in the Z-Sword by Beerus, so therefore he wasn't able to see this. So thank you to Herms for that point. I hope you enjoyed reading that on screen, guys. And also, I was going to say that I didn't really talk really much about Kaioshin's abilities in this video. I'm going to plan on doing another video on this, because I think it needs to have more attention, more time, just to really hone in on these things, because there's more than meets the eye, of course. So I hope you don't mind me doing that, guys. That won't be going up for a little while, but it will be out there soon. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to leave a like. And also, guys, if you have any more suggestions for videos, I'm doing a grand list. I'm getting through them eventually. Your video that you have suggested will be up eventually. You know, maybe not in the next week or two, but maybe, you know, further and beyond. But you will expect to see it. because I screenshot all your comments. I then put them onto my video ideas folder, and then I write down all the video ideas you have on a grand list, so I'm not missing anything you're saying. I used to do that, I used to miss them and forget, but I've, in the last few months I've started to write them all down, get them all sorted and archived for you guys. So yes, also guys, if you enjoyed the video, as I said, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to start expanding and enhancing your knowledge of Dragon Ball, and I'll see you in the next video.